go on a date with, and I don't know why, but your name just came to my mind.
Well, I appreciate you thinking of me, so I'm very flattered.
Yeah. Oh, no!
Gil has suffered enough. He does not need to suffer anymore. He went through a lot with Merla. They need to leave him alone. And you could tell from the expression on his face as soon as he realized that Dom was interested in him in a romantic sense, that he was not in for it. And I also liked Clint at the end, how he behaved, with his bet with Dom. I thought that was cute. I think they need to stop sort of forcing relationships between people. I think they need to stop bringing people from former seasons to try and match them up with people in the current season. I think if they're in a romantic sense, I think if they're going to bring them, they need to bring them as a support group. So maybe if they'd brought in Gil to say, Gil, have a conversation with Clint. Clint has been in a marriage and the marriage hasn't worked out and he's struggling to move on. And then have Gil give his own advice on how he was able to move on from Merla. I think that would work better. But they need to stop this sort of incest whereby they're moving partners around. I don't like that. But anyway, I digress. Hey there, it's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, a comment, and turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 23. Am I the only one asking about the purpose of this episode? This is filler episodes. Did they not have enough material for us to watch? If they hadn't edited this as much as they did, they could have given us episodes of the couple still being married. They didn't need to bring Decision Day that fast. Anyway, I digress. So Kirsten and Jasmine meet up, and I like them. It's really sad that their marriages didn't work. And it's cute to see them coming up with ideas of what to do next. And given the fact that Gina has been promoting her business all season long, I'm happy for Kirsten and Jasmine to promote their own business, because why not? What's good for Gina is good for everybody else. And then Nicole and Chris. Nicole and Chris, I know they said yes on Decision Day. I am still a bit nervous about them as a couple. I think Nicole is too too assertive or too outspoken for Chris. And Chris, yes, he gets his way, but he gets his way in a subtle way. And so I don't know how they're going to mesh when a conflict arises. They did speak to Nicole's dad, inviting him for, Thanksgiving. He seems to have come on board with the idea of Nicole and Chris being married. He's happy. He welcomes Chris to the family, which is good. And it's nice to see a family move on. So Dom meets up with her mum, and for me, I don't even know why we needed to see them. Anyway, I digress. They have a conversation about the fact that Gina and Mac went on a date, and her mom is sort of asking her, how do you feel about that? And how does Clint feel about that? And she says, well, Clint doesn't care and I don't care. And it's like, yeah, well, it is what it is. And the mom is sort of, oh, I wish you and Mac had gone through the whole process just like Clint and Gina. And she's, oh, do you mean I should have gone through all that? No, it's not the fact that, we can't be friends. It's just the fact that the way he behaved after I said I wanted a divorce, and it's like, you were criticizing this man throughout your short marriage, and then you said you wanted a divorce without making an effort to sort of repair that relationship, and you expect him to be your best friend and be doing cartwheels, holding hands down the street. No, he's not going to do that. You said you wanted a divorce, you were not willing to do any work, you criticized this man, treated him like dirt, and so you can't expect him to want to be your friend suddenly. That's not possible. That's not possible at all. You need to accept, and take ownership of the choices you made in your marriage and the decisions that you made as well, and accept that and move on. And her mom is, oh, at first I felt very, very guilty because I signed up for this process, and it's like, and she said, you're not responsible. It's like, and in my opinion, the mom is responsible. She knew her daughter was immature. She knew her daughter was self-centered. She knew her daughter was not willing to compromise, and yet she signed her up for this process, knowing those things, and still didn't help her daughter navigate those things. Because during the honeymoon, Dom asked to speak to her mum, and I don't remember anyone asking to speak to a parent during the honeymoon. I remember Shanice and Jeff just spoke to Pastor Carl because there was conflict there, but they never asked to speak to their parents. So I don't know why she was being given special treatment. So her mum is responsible for whatever Dom does, although Dom is an adult and she as well is responsible. So her mom is responsible for signing her up, knowing that her daughter had a lot of problems. And yes, she said, oh, I know Dom is not perfect, but still she's responsible for that because you knew your daughter wasn't perfect and put her through a process saying that, oh, she is mature for her age, knowing she's not mature for her age. So I don't get that. And then she mentions, oh, I've reached out to Gil, and it's like, why? Why? Anyway, I'll moan about that later. Aries met up with Kendra, and I really don't get why we had to see this. Apparently, Kendra is one of the people that the experts considered matching Aries with, and you can see from the jump that they would never have got along. I think Jasmine was a way, way better catch for him. I think this lady, yes, apart from the fact that they're only children, their dads have passed away, and they're lactose intolerant. I didn't see anything else that they had in common, and it seemed more like a checklist, like an interview. It was very uncomfortable, and for Aries to say he finds her attractive more than Jasmine, I would be surprised because he didn't seem like he found her attractive. He did ask her, "Are we going on another date?" But I don't know. I really didn't see anything special about it. I think I saw more of a reason as to why maybe the experts didn't match them because they didn't think they were right together. I think the experts thought Jasmine would make a more compassionate, empathetic, and loving partner than Kendra. No offense to Kendra, I know we've just seen her for one scene, but I don't think she's it. Oh my god, it's like the producers are trying to wring every last scene from this season. I don't know why. Anyway, the group meets up apparently for Nicole's dog's birthday, and it's just like, why? Could we not find something else for them to do? They were just chatting and sort of catching up, and it was really unnecessary. Dom and Mac were there. They were being very awkward. It was very uncomfortable. Mac was saying, he's happy to see everyone except for Dom. Dom is happy to see everyone except for Mac. And it's very childish. They're both very childish. I don't even know why they're going back and forth. Kirsten was talking about the fact that she reached out to Shaq, um, you know, seeing as his grandma passed away, just to pass her condolences. And that was sweet. And Nicole was talking about her marriage and how they're getting along and how Chris has seen everything, and it's like, I don't know why I don't get excited about that marriage. I know it would be nice to celebrate at least someone who's decided to say yes on decision day, but I really don't get it. And then Gina meets up with her mom and her stepdad. I don't know why they even met up. I don't even know why we bothered seeing Gina. At least in this episode, we didn't get to hear about her salon. I don't know whether the producers have told her not to talk about her salon. She did talk about the fact that she and Mac were thinking of going on a date. And her mom is saying, oh, you're a very nice girl. You're very this and you're very... I don't know why Clint didn't find you attractive. And it's like, wait until you watch the season. Wait until you hear the horrible things your daughter said to Clint. Wait until you see how your daughter behaved towards Clint, and then you can judge that she's a nice person. But otherwise, until you see that, I would reserve my comments. I would reserve my comments because your daughter has not been portrayed in the most positive light during the season. She's come across as very judgmental, as very sort of uncompromising, as very self-centered because all she spoke about all season was her salon. So I would hold off on this. She's a nice person comments. So Shaq meets up with Jasmine and Airris, and that sort of makes sense. They were close, so it makes sense that we'd want to meet up with them. But for him to say, it's nice to meet people who are understanding and are very supportive and knowing what I'm going through, and it's like, Kirsten, despite you telling her no, after giving her the impression you're going to say yes, still rang you to express her condolences when your grandmother passed away. She listened to you throughout your marriage, although she didn't listen the way you wanted her to listen to you. And so for you to take a jab at Kirsten and then turn around and say, why does she not want to be friends? The reason why Aries and Jasmine are able to be friends is because they both told each other the truth and told each other that I'm not really feeling you that way, so I don't think this will work. You made Kirsten feel like you were working on your marriage. Your marriage was progressing, and the possibility of you saying yes on decision day was very high. You even cuddled her and kissed her and told her you're going to miss her the night before you turned around and said no. So how then do you expect her to suddenly become best friends with you? Make that make sense. Shaq, I think, is very... I think he only hears what he wants to hear. That's the impression that I get of Shaq. I think whatever doesn't align with what he wants to hear, he shuts out. And this is why he's always sort of saying, oh, poor me, or I might meet up with Kirsten and hopefully if she wants to be friends, that's fine. If she wants to be cordial, that's fine. If she doesn't want to, that's fine. And it's like, yes, I understand you're bereaved and you're struggling and you're going through a lot. But at the end of the day, you upset someone, you hurt her, you embarrassed her, you broke her heart. As Jasmine was saying to him that this is how Kirsten might be feeling, he needs to take that into consideration. Oh, I'll sit down with her and I will listen. You will listen to what you want to hear, not to what she's saying. And this is why your marriage did not work, because you refused to listen to what was being said. You only listened to what aligned with what you wanted to hear. And this is why you've ended up where you are. Oh my God, I don't get it. And then Gina meets up with has this, a video conference with a lawyer, and it's like, please make it make sense. Make it make sense. Why are we even listening to this? We all know that they all sign a prenup before they get married, and everybody takes whatever they came into the marriage with, they take it with them when they leave the marriage. That has always, I understand, been the standard for marriage at first sight. So I don't get why she said, oh, how do I file my taxes? Your prenup that you signed before you got married should tell you this. You don't need to make it seem like suddenly there's all this. I knew she was going to bring her business in some way, and she found a way to bring it in. And then she spoke about Hank. Oh, I've got a dog. What will happen with my dog? Your dog should be included in the prenup. There's no way Clint is going to take it. Yes, you've told us countless times that he's offered you 10,000, but hey, please keep it moving. We need to hear more. I wish they could give us material that's outside of what we saw during the season, if they're going to give us extra episodes. That's just my opinion. So Kirsten meets with her cousin and her cousin's husband, and they have a conversation. Kirsten is letting them know that Shaquille and her have decided to divorce. Shaquille decided he wanted a divorce, and she still has to meet up with Shaquille. And I am happy that they asked her the necessary questions. They asked her, why did he ask for a divorce? And Kirsten seems to have heard what he said, because she listed every single thing that he said. And she mentioned the event where he wanted her to go with him to his conference and stuff. And the husband was right to say that, at least he should have made it clear that he really needed you there. He shouldn't just suggested it and then expected you to read his mind and sort of say, oh, okay, I'm coming along with you. I think this was the problem with Shaq, because Shaq had so many expectations of his wife, and yet he was not willing to meet his wife's expectations. When Kirsten told him she wanted him to buy a house, he really sort of was put off by that, and yet he expects Kirsten to be apologetic nonstop for not going with him to his event. Even when she called him while he was there, he was very dismissive and very sort of upset, and it's like, you should have just told her, this is very important to me. I need you to come with me. Please, could you come with me? They've barely been married for a couple of weeks. How did they expect to know what was important to him and what was a suggestion? That didn't make sense. Clint meets with a dog breeder, and he's thinking of getting a dog. I don't know whether it's because the producers have asked him to do that or whether he's just doing that on his own, although he mentions he's still interested in paying Gina for Hank. I think because he's really established a strong bond with Hank, and I think Hank is going to be heartbroken once Clint gets his own dog and sort of stops visiting Hank. It's surprising that the qualities that Shaq was looking for in a wife are the qualities that Clint has. Clint is loving, he's supportive, he's caring. He was all there for Gina when she spoke about her business non-stop. He looked after her dog. We saw him with her dog more than we actually saw Gina with her own dog. So it's just surprising. I think it's sad that Clint wasn't a woman. Maybe I think they should have matched Clint with Kirsten. I think they would have been a better couple, because Clint would have been more patient with Kirsten. I think Kirsten needed someone who was loving, caring, supportive, empathetic, willing to compromise, and was very patient. So I think maybe Clint would have been a better partner for her than Shaq. But hey, I digress. So Dom has a conversation with Gil whereby, they're sort of catching up. She's telling him about her marriage, that she is from the Nashville season. She got divorced after 11 days, and you could tell Gil was not impressed as soon as she said that. Because he told her, he was right to say, I believe you need to go through the whole process and see if you can grow your relationship or see if you can learn anything from it. And then when she sort of highlighted that she was asked, who else do you like? And she said, Gil, he wasn't impressed. You could see from his facial expression he wasn't impressed, and he didn't see her in that light of him being likely to date her. I think because he could see that she was very immature, I think. And this is why he said to her, you know, my schedule is very tight. Maybe we'll catch up, but my schedule is tight for the next 4 weeks. And it's like, that's him telling you no. He's really not feeling you. He's really not into you. And I think you need to do a lot of work before you get yourself into another relationship, Dom. You need to do a lot of work. You need to do a lot of self-reflection. You need to look at this season and see what you can learn from your time with Mac. Because Mac was not the only problem in your relationship. You were also the problem. So you have a lot of self-discovering and a lot of self-growth before you can sort of bind yourself to someone else. Gil has been through a lot. He does not need to be in a relationship with another person who's very self-centered and very immature. That's just my opinion. Shaq is very delusional. I try not to criticize people in my reviews, but I think he is. Because he meets up with Kirsten to sort of discuss what happened. And he tells Kirsten that I was hoping to still be married to you, but I made a decision. And Kirsten said, well, if that's the case, why were you crying? Well, I was crying because I made a decision for myself. And she did ask about his family. She asked him how he was doing. And he has the audacity to say she's not nurturing because she didn't ask, do you need anything? She asked, how is your family? How are they doing? What else did you want from her? Because she didn't say, do you need anything? That's why she's not nurturing. Shaq needs to understand the word nurturing, and he really needs to watch this episode, this season, full season, so that he learns about himself. Because the audacity for him to stand there and say she's not nurturing, she sent you a message to check up on you after your grandma passed away. She's asked about your family. What more do you want? What more do you want from her? You want her to come to you with you to the funeral. What else do you need? If that's what you needed from her, you should have told her. This is the reason why you are where you are, because you have poor communication skills and you blame other people when they don't tell you what you want to hear. You only want to hear what you want to hear. You don't want to hear what anybody else has to say. Oh my God, I'm so frustrated with him. I really liked the final group meetup. I don't know whether throwing axes was the best idea, but I really liked a couple of things that I observed. I was surprised that Aries was standing next to Jasmine. He was all over Jasmine. He kept touching her. He was all touchy-feely, and it's like, how? You said you're not attracted to her. Towards the end, we saw you sort of hugging and stuff. What make it make sense? If you're not attracted to her, and if you're not interested in staying married to her, then you need to keep it moving. I have a feeling that Aries, towards the end, wanted to stay married to Jasmine, and he thought Jasmine would say yes, and so was heartbroken when Jasmine said no, because I think he thought since he had made some of the changes that were needed, she would give him an opportunity, since he had been asking for them to try out away from the cameras. So this is the impression that I get. Gina, well, apparently, Aries tried to phone Mac, couldn't get through, so he asked Gina to phone Mac. And so if Mac is really that into Gina, he would have picked up. It doesn't matter whatever he's doing, or he would have sent an I'm sorry, I can't talk right now message. So I don't get what happened there. I think they're just making the Gina Mac relationship appear to be what it's not. And then Nicole needs to keep her opinion to herself. She needs to mind her own business. Well, Nicole keeps trying to push everyone into a relationship. She was now trying to push Dom and Clint to go on a date, and it's like, that's not your place. You're not an expert. Work on your own marriage. Sort out the issues that you have before you try to help somebody else. It's just cute to see Clint and Dom sort of wager a bet on whoever sort of misses or whoever hits close to the bullseye, I think is what I got, would get a kiss. And Clint did that, and everyone was now embarrassed. They didn't want to see the kiss, and they actually kissed, and it seemed a bit passionate, in my opinion. Jasmine had me in tears, and the fact that Jasmine had to tell Kirsten that this is what happened because Kirsten wasn't there. I agree with them. They need to stop this wife partner swap. If they want wife swap, then they need to have a show called Wife Swap. They need to stop swapping partners from seasons or from the current season. So they need to stop bringing back people from other seasons to say, oh, so is interested in you. That needs to stop. If they're going to have a reunion, I think if they're going to bring people, I think if they're going to bring ex-spouses from other seasons, they need to bring them as a support group to sort of sit down with someone, have a conversation about what went wrong in their marriages and how they feel they've grown, or how they feel they can help a person who's going through a divorce sort of move on from the breakdown of their marriage. That's just my opinion. But anyway, that's just me. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye, everyone.